guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new DC Collectibles Robin from Batman the Animated Series. The second wave is finally out, and DC Collectibles has promised us huge improvements in terms of the quality of these figures. As many of you know, the first wave really did suffer from a lot of problems, such as breaking joints. I got to give huge props to DC Collectibles because they sent out basically surveys and a lot of people complained about them. So what they did was went back, reevaluated the plastic that they're actually using, and changed it. Not only that, but there's some also cosmetic changes that they did to the overall figures, which all contributed to this second wave being delayed a little bit. But honestly, I could care less. Now for the packaging, as you can see, very similar to what we got in the first wave. You got Robin right here, you got Batman the Animated Series, and then the silhouette of Batman here in the back, which is replicated here on the actual back of the card as well. And that particular image is very indicative of how it looked in the Batman Animated Series. But really nice package. You got that open clamshell. You do have the little hang tag right there, which you can't see. Well, even if I go like that, you can't see it because it's clear. You got the air holes right here that allow air to kind of flow in and out so that the air that's inside the package doesn't get stagnant or damage the figure or anything. So a real nice collectible sort of friendly package. And if you want to leave it in here, you're more than welcome to, but we're not going to. We're going to get this guy open and see how cool he actually is. All right, guys, so here we have Robin opened up and out of its packaging. And right up front, I got to tell you that I'm really very impressed with the improvements that DC Collectibles had made to these figures. It's really very noticeable. Now, some of the wrists and things like that still are a little bit stuck. There's almost like there's a little bit too much paint on them, but you can actually work with that. And you can kind of get those small joints to actually pop, and you can still utilize them, which is really good. But the plastic on here feels very good. Now, starting off first, we're going to set him to the back. He does come with this display stand. As you can see, you got the nice turnaround here. You got the front, the side, and back of Robin, as well as the Batman animated logo right there. You got this clear stand. One thing that is interesting, though, is it doesn't, as you can see, have the forward and back slide, which is kind of unfortunate because you're basically now keeping Robin like right here, and that kind of stinks. I would prefer to have him a little bit more centered on the actual stand. So while I like this because it is less of a, I guess, well, not even really a footprint. I mean, it's just when you have a claw that can slide, it's like you slide it and then there's a lot of extra bits on there. So it's kind of unfortunate, but I think it's a much better use of a display stand kind of thing because, like I said, now instead of keeping him like just standing right here, instead of keeping him here, you're able to keep him a little bit more centered on the actual piece. But it's not too bad. I do appreciate the include that in the first place. Now, he does come with a couple of extra accessories. He does come with a bola, which is really nice. We saw him use this several times in the series. Basically, you throw this and it kind of, spins around and it basically will wrap around a bad guy or something like that. And then, oh, I fell down, something like that. So you do have that, and you can see it is a very flexible rubber, so you get a lot of wiggle, waggle, wibble with it or whatever. He does come with a couple different grappling sort of looks. Now, taking this off first, you can have, getting him to stand there, you can have just the regular grapple, or you can have a hand that actually holds it. It's all molded in one piece, so you don't swap it out or anything, but you do have the accessory in different kind of configurations, which is cool. I like that. Did I ever actually get this? Oh yeah, I did actually. This one was really stiff, and I couldn't get that joint to actually pop, but I actually finally did after playing with it for a while. So you do have both of those, which I think is really cool that they decided to do it that way instead of just giving one and then giving it a hand that you kind of wiggle this in there. So I do like it, and some nice painted detail coming across here showing his fingers actually holding it. So I really appreciate that. He does come with just a multitude of different hands. I'm going to put this in there, getting that in there. So you do see he's got both a right and left fist that's currently on the figure. He also has a both right and left kind of relaxed hand if you just want to have him standing there. And then you have both a right and left hand that's designed to actually hold this bola. So you just take this and you slot it through just like so, and you can have them throwing it or something like that. So I do appreciate that. I think that's cool. I really love all the extra hand accessories that you do get. And the last accessory is actually an extra cape, and you can kind of see that it's got a little bit of a scuff paint something in there. I don't even know if I can get that off, but it's a little bit sloppy in terms of the paint detail on there. But all you do is you pop, well, you can see that you got this cape here, which is just kind of flung over his shoulders, a lot more of an action kind of cape pose. You just pop that off on a ball joint. You can, if you wanted to, and it's very much like that Batman figure. You can just put it like this, and you can have him without a cape if you wanted to, which it's kind of a cool look just by itself. But then this comes over, and again, like that Batman, and I'll bring him in here in a little bit, you do have the option to have a cape that is more slung over his shoulder. It's kind of just, you know, I'm standing here hanging out kind of a pose, which I think looks pretty good. It's not overly dramatic or anything like that, but if you're just going to have him standing there, I think that's a real cool look for him, and I actually dig this cape a little bit more, just because I like having him stand there and kind of looking menacing. This is, like I said, a much more action pose kind of cape, but you can see soft rubber on here as well, very similar to his actual bola, so you can not really pose it or anything, but it is a soft goods kind of thing. Now, just for the sake of showing off the articulation, because when you have this on here, it does kind of limit his articulation. You can see it's not actually too bad because this is a softer rubber, so that actually does flex up. But getting that off and bringing this back on, I'm going to use this for the remainder of the video, but his articulation is really good. It is standard basically, but you do have a bit of a ball joint here, so you get a nice range of motion. And honestly, this is a great look on this figure. It really did nicely, or they really did nicely capture how Robin looked from the Batman animated series. So you do have that nice range of motion. I love the eyes on there. It's just lots of real cool look on here. His hair is really nice and messy. It's just perfect. The shoulders move about that far out. You can feel the joints on here are just much more sturdy. Instead of that clearish plastic that was very brittle, this feels very, very good. So you got that range of motion. You can move him all the way around. He bends here at the elbow. He also does rotate at the elbow, so you can get that range of motion. But then he also does rotate just above where the glove is. So you got 2 points of articulation really there. The wrists do rotate. They can move in and out. Coming down here to the waist, you can see that he rotates right below his belt. Hips move forward. They move back. They move in and out. Obviously, when you go like that, it's going to kind of break up that look and look kind of awkward. He does bend here at the knee at a little less than 90 degrees, about halfway or so. He does rotate at the upper part of the boot, and then the ankles move forward, back. They rotate. Well, wait, let's see. No, they don't rotate. They rotate here at the boot, but yeah, the other bit is you do get a little bit of ankle tilt in there, so you can get a more wide stance, kind of looking like that sort of thing. So all the articulation that you could want is there, making a very posable, very cool looking figure. Now, one thing that I did talk about is, in addition to improving the plastic and changing what they actually use, they also did improve the cosmetic look of it. Now, bringing in Batman, and he's kind of tricky to stand. One thing that you're noticing, like, you got these exposed pin joints. You got them all over the figures, and that's the way that it was in the entire first wave. You got these little ugly little notches here. You got that on the side there. Not so much on the arm, but you come around here to the back, you got that on his butt. And just bringing in Batman here for the comparison and setting him over there. The first wave had all of those. And bringing in Catwoman, you can see that Catwoman doesn't like to stand very well because she's got very tiny feet, but those exposed pins are there as well. They actually fixed that on here. You can see there are no exposed pins. You got nothing here at the hips. You have nothing here at the knees. It all looks really very good and a lot more seamless and less like an action figure. Honestly, I think it's really good looking. You can see that they do require some patience when standing, well, especially, I mean, mostly just Catwoman because of how tiny she is. But here's the scale that you're kind of looking, and honestly, I think that this looks pretty good. Dick Grayson is younger than Batman. He's, I want to say, like senior year high school, maybe freshman college or something like that. So I think that the scale here actually works pretty good, especially when you compare it to Batman. I think what kind of throws it off is just how bulky he is. But height-wise, I think it actually works pretty good. And then you see Catwoman, as a grown woman, is a little bit taller. One thing that I will also mention is that Wave 2 was originally supposed to have the Batman New Adventures Poison Ivy, but that got pushed back because much like Catwoman, she's a very small, very thin figure. They wanted to make sure that they got the actual the tolerances on her just right. So that got pushed back. That's supposed to come out sometime later this year. But I really think that this looks great, even if he's not the actual animated series Batman that I really prefer and like. But all in all, I absolutely dig this. The Wave 2 figures have really very much impressed me. I'm absolutely thrilled that DC Collectibles really is putting so much care into this line. As I said, they really want collectors to feel that these are the definitive figures from Batman the Animated Series as well as the New Adventures. And while Wave 1 definitely had some problems, Wave 2 really does fix those. And as I said, I really give a lot of credit to DC for actually listening to us collectors and going back and making those changes. The other cool thing is they have said that at some point down the line, they will go back and revisit the first wave of figures and implement these new changes. So if you did have a lot of problems and just kind of basically wrote off the entire line because of it, at some point you will be able to go back and get those figures with the new improved plastic, and I even think the improved cosmetic look. To me, that's just great customer service, and I honestly cannot sing their praises enough. As for Robin here, I really think that they nailed that likeness. The sculpt on here is really well done. The head looks terrific. I even love how the actual R here is actually sculpted and not just a painted R on there. I mean, they really put a lot of attention to detail into a figure that, I mean, let's face it, did not have a lot of details in of itself. But they really did a great job of recreating this and bringing it to us in terms of a 3D figure. These guys are great, and I cannot recommend these enough to you. Now, DC Collectibles oftentimes are found at things like comic book stores and things of that nature, so if you're looking for them, good luck and happy hunting. Or as always, they are available at Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can pick these up and add them to your collection today. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that you can keep in touch with me by liking my Facebook page at facebook.com/TeamBotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/Optibotimus. Also, I'd encourage you to check out my website at optibotimusreviews.com, where you can see all my videos from the previous week, see what I have coming up for future release, and also get your very own Optibotimus t-shirt. And finally, I'd also really appreciate it, guys, that if you like this review, don't forget to please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.